Hello and welcome to the stream. We are live now, and I'm going to try to connect one more time because Chatty's telling me that the stream is down, but it's not. I am streaming, I'm live. Oh, and we should make sure, yeah, we got the noiseless mic enabled. Very cool, very cool. Okay, awesome. Talk shows and podcasts. Why am I in talk shows and podcasts? I think I changed my, yeah, I think it changed when I live streamed the podcast. Oh well, we can be a podcast. That's fine. Um, okay, cool. So, yeah, today I'm going to be talking a lot about kind of like high level stuff. We might get into some work today too, but I'm not like super attached to it. Um, I wish I had some kind of like Windows Notepad thing. Like other than VS Code. VS Code feels heavy for some reason. I guess it doesn't have to feel so heavy. We can just use it as a notepad, right? Let's just remove this work. It really does feel heavy. I can't get used to it. How do I remove this project? Untitled project. Oh, outline, timeline. Okay, but really, how do I remove this? Remove folder from workspace. Remove folder from workspace. No folder opened. Hide. Uh, Miss Linity, Sad Girl, Academy Impossible, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming to the stream. I really appreciate it. So today we're talking about why I do what I do. I have a bunch of projects on my plate right now. I'm thinking about Remake. I'm thinking about we'll call it Ultra Simple CSS, which is a CSS framework. We're not going to get into like what it's named or whatever. Um, I'm working on Dev RPG. I'm working on a lot of things related to Remake. So, for example, payments, docs, um, marketing. And then I'm also releasing a uh, build in public. I'm going to just put this as a topic. And this is going to be, oh, and yeah. So we're releasing a course. So I'm working on a course. I'm gonna just call this like what I'm doing. Let's put this in download or let's put this in Dropbox current and let's just put like what I'm doing text. Okay, so I'm working on a building public course, working on a service. I might start like a little like newspaper thing. Um, and we'll group Ultra Simple CSS under Remake. Um, and we're gonna say remake the web as like a topic, and we're gonna say we have a framework here, and we're working on payments, docs, and marketing for that. We're doing a building public course. I swear there's other things I'm working on. I mean, I don't want to be working on them, but I am, and they're important to me. So uh, let's figure out what they are. Mostly I'm really trying to figure out marketing for Remake. Um, I think, yeah, reach is really important to me, like in general. So like I'll say marketing slash reach. Um, but I'm not sure if this is like a good goal, like unless you have a good product. But we'll talk about that today. So I've got the podcast, Real Remake Apps, Kanban. I guess this isn't in the right. Oh no, it is in the right order. That's pretty nice. So Dropbox actually um, orders it correctly. Let's see about the folders. So we've got DevRPG, Artistify, blog. Not sure. Oh, that's the remake blog. Um, Okay. Remake, new syntax, freelance rate calculator. That's not really something I'm too focused on right now. Um, Internet investigators, remake Classmatic, Swarmation, OneClickDB. Yeah, I think maybe I've got it all, which just sound like what I've written down so far. Um, yeah, there's not like a lot of other stuff here. Okay. So yeah, so what I'm thinking about a lot right now is marketing and reach. Um, and we can say marketing, branding, and reach. And I'm gonna just kind of start writing down my thoughts on this. I really, really want a better text editor though. Best simple text editor, Windows. I swear, I'm just gonna like start writing as soon as I have a good text editor. I swear, I promise. Notepad++. I guess that got a lot of attention. I don't know, I guess VS Code is fine. Whatever. Um, let's say for writing. Di Derricks, thank you for joining. You've been following me on Twitter for a while, but never understand what you're trying to achieve with Remake. Could you explain it simply? Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for asking it. So what am I trying to achieve with Remake? The simplest way to describe it is it's easy to create a rough draft in writing, in like architecture, in like a lot of different fields, right? You can create a rough draft really, really easily. And in order to get better at something, you need to create a rough draft and then get feedback, right? This loop of like rough draft and feedback is the most important thing. Like this is like if you don't have this rough draft and feedback flow, it can take forever to get better at something, right? If you don't have that immediate feedback. And Remake is all about making it really, really easy to create web applications so you can get that tight feedback cycle of rough draft feedback, right? So Remake's like rough draft for web apps. Um, and you don't really have that these days. There's all kinds of right ways to do things. I mean, the closest you have is PHP, right? If you pop up a really simple site with like PHP and like some, a basic back-end framework and you don't use any of the complex front-end stuff, that's the closest you can get. But Remake's like trying to make that even simpler. Um, if you don't have a tight feedback cycle. How much would I have to learn to start working with Remake? What about functional people? I'm not sure what you mean by functional people, but to learn Remake, it's just recipes.remake the web is the best way to get started. Oh, non-technical people. Well, so do you know HTML and CSS? Because that would help a lot. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so your question was what about non-technical people? So yeah, you need to know HTML and CSS in order to use Remake. The idea is that you're not getting involved in all this like no code stuff. You want to be able to create a website that looks how you want it to look, and you want to be able to disentangle from like a no code solution. So I think the foundation should be HTML and CSS. And then the idea with Remake is that you're not like sticking to Remake forever. Like you're switching to React or Vue at some point once you've found some degree of product market fit. Um, And mostly what Remake is the HTML and CSS. So you can easily transfer that over to a different solution. And as far as like what you need to know um, in order to like basically build a Remake app, it's basically just like you can go to the recipes.remaketheweb.com. That's where I'm at now. And like I'll show you, yeah, this is like a pretty basic app. This has all of like the main functionality of Remake. There's like a few extra things here, but like it's just like this much code and most of this is HTML. Um, there's obviously like a few special attributes, but a lot of them are repeated. And basically all they're saying is like where data is stored and which data is editable. That's really it. And they're just describing like the structure of the HTML describes the structure of the JSON. Um, so you can edit these things, you know, I can change this to like 5 hours. And all this is just, you know, right here, where it just says, hey, we're going to look at um, the inner text of this HTML element to find the item length. Um, and this is an object inside of an array, inside of an object, inside of an array, inside of an object. And right here we have, you know, an object, and then we have an array, and then we have an object, and then we have another series of arrays. So this is like pretty deeply nested data, has a lot of flexibility. It's like a simplified CMS that you define on the front end. And the key component there is that it's not a single user CMS. It's not for a single website. So most CMSs like WordPress or whatever CMS you're thinking about, it's for a single client for a single website. Remake lets you define the structure of your CMS, and then thousands of users can come and get their own version of that CMS using just the HTML that you defined. So this HTML defines an unlimited amount of CMSs for all of your different users. Whereas if you wrote a template for like a WordPress site, in order to create an unlimited number of CMSs, you would have to install WordPress over and over and over again on different servers. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think agencies would make a really good market. I should probably market to them more, but I really want to focus on indie hackers and you know, people trying to build products. The products are mostly like website builder type stuff. Um, that's a really good question though. Yeah, I think agencies would actually like, you know, be a good fit. But like you can't just, it's not just website builders, right? Like if you look at the three examples on the website, we have a reading list sharing app, we have a resume builder, and we have a like a Kanban app, like a to-do list thing. So like none of these are website builders. These are all apps. And the idea is like if you have a really good idea, like a really good design for an app, you can use Remake to get that functional really, really quickly and then like keep iterating on that really easily and try to like find something that's going to fit with a lot of people, right? So you can start getting signups, you can start, um, you know, it doesn't accept payments yet, but you know, you can start charging for it maybe some manual way and just try to like validate that it's a good idea and that you have the right UI and you have the right product and you know the right marketing, and then you can start scaling it. And you can scale it with Remake, right? But you could also like once you've found that product market fit, you know, a year or two in, you can switch to something like React. Um, so I am focusing on like the indie hacker movement right now, just because it's what I'm excited about. But yeah, I think agencies would really benefit from it as well. Um, that's a good question. I just want to write down everything I just told you. It's super useful for me. Okay, so like uh, in most industries, it's easy to create a rough draft. Um, you have a feedback cycle. rough draft, feedback, repeat. If you don't have, oh, I already said that, forever to get better, so we'll just put this first. If you don't have a tight feedback cycle, it takes forever to get better. Add something. And what did you ask next? um, it's like a simplified CMS. Okay. And then what did I say? What did I say after this? So it makes it really easy. I said something about making it easy to create like editable websites or web apps. So yeah, it makes it easy to create rough drafts of web apps. I'll just say remake, so you can get better. There's no way to do that right now, except maybe like PHP and the server rendered app, but even that's tough. Okay, so what'd you say? Is there a demo test plan somewhere that I don't have to host? I'm in a situation where the CMS for many would be nice, but I would like to try it out first. Absolutely. So I'm really sorry it's not clear from the homepage, but you can just download it. It's open source. Um, the remake CLI is probably where you want to go. Um, and yeah, let me know any feedback you have. I know the onboarding can be a tiny bit rough, not super bad. But you basically just type in npx remake create my app, and it's going to generate your whole app for you, and then you'll have like a localhost version on it of it, and then you can like start playing around with the syntax. And what you want to look at for after you generate the app, you want to look inside the app folder, inside of app pages, app index. That's where the main app is. And we have a few different starter applications, so you can start playing around with them as well. And we have a tutorial that helps you build the Trello clone, and then we have a lot of like other documentation about how it works and the different attributes. And yeah, I mean, like a lot of the pages are pretty simple, like how to upload a file. It's like, oh, yep, just need like this one line and you can upload a file, you're done. Um, yeah, so that's the docs as well, docs.remaketheweb.com. But yeah, I know I need to make it simpler to get started from the homepage and make it clearer that there's an open source version. You can also try it out in this CodePen. I'll link this to you too. I spent a lot of time working on this and trying to get it to work. And I just got it to work a couple months ago. And it's a front end only version of Remake. So you can play around with it just in CodePen, and the syntax will work, and it's going to save all the data to local storage for you. You're not going to get all of the advantages of the user accounts and everything, but if you just want to play around with it and see what the syntax is like, this is a great place to start. Oh, that's awesome. Was there any part that really resonated with you? Just so I'm like trying to do market research right now and figure out what's, you know, um, yeah, what people get excited about with Remake. So it would be really helpful to know what you found exciting. Um, to do that right now, except maybe PHP and a server rendered app, but even that's tough. And you end up building a lot before showing someone. And then, like, what does it let you build? You can create, you can like make a page editable uh, with view custom HTML attributes. So it's basically a simple CMS. Yes, a simple CMS defined entirely on the front end. Swift usht 45. Swift DH 45. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. We just got some questions about why I made Remake. I believe that was the starting question. Let me see. Why you're what you're trying to achieve with Remake. Let's actually rename that. Um, what I'm trying to achieve. I actually have no idea how to spell achieve, if it's the I before the E or the E before the I. Because I before E except after C, but achieve has a C, but I think it's I before E. Sharing this with clients, this part where I can write one UI and deliver it to clients and allow them to change the labels. That's what I'm interested in. Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's really, it's like, it's funny. I didn't have that on the homepage at all. And I only recently added that. Have you seen the homepage? Have you like seen this part? Because this is supposed to explain that, but I'm a little worried it's like too complicated. I I would be very curious to know what you think about this part of the homepage. Okay, what I'm trying to achieve with reading text, and let's delete the old one. Okay, so a yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't ask me again. Okay, yes, a simple CMS defined entirely on the front end, but unlike most CMSs, uh, it works with multiple clients and multiple websites, not just one. So, so you create the template once, but then thousands of different users can sign up and all get a different version of the website that they can edit uh, on their own. That's part's the hardest to explain. Said something about sharing this with clients. This part where I can write one UI. I'm actually gonna like put exactly what you said. So like write one UI and deliver it to clients and deliver it to clients and let each of them edit their own site. I think it should be like maybe I should put like on the homepage like write one UI. I'm gonna try this is like kind of silly, but let's see. So like write one UI um serve unlimited clients. Let's see how this works. Oops, right on UI. Um, I don't know if this works, but we'll see. So write your UI once. Serve serve unlimited clients. This is like a better value proposition than what I have before, because what I have now is not a value proposition. It's all about just like the technology. Um, so I think this is close. Yeah. Okay. That's good feedback. Um, can you explain that a little bit more? Like why did it seem tedious? I'd be very curious to know. I mean, I can kind of see maybe why it would be tedious, right? Because maybe you have to do, maybe it's like a lot of complex configuration. Um, ah, right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, and no, the answer is no. Um, yeah, I want the CI, uh, continuing integration, DevOps, and backend to all be handled for you automatically. Um, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. That's where your head went. I mean, like, I think you are probably pretty technical. I mean, you already mentioned you are. Um, you've been building web apps for a while, 8 years, yeah. So that makes sense that you would think of web app as that. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna just try this. Write your UI once. Um, write your UI once. Serve unlimited clients? No. Ooh, um, yeah. Write your UI once. It sounds interesting, but I don't think I would be able to make sense of this. I want to remove this this text shadow. You agree it's unclear? Yeah. Write your UI once, serve unlimited clients. Yeah. I mean, I've gone down this road before and it's been hard. But it could be like create. I like the UI one though, right? Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across thousands of clients. It's so long, but let's pretend it's not long and let's just focus on the messaging. Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across thousands of clients. That sounds clear to me. I know it's super long. Let's just ignore that for a second. Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across thousands of clients. That feels good. It feels better than what I had before. Build web apps with HTML. We can go into the technology here. So I wonder though about focusing on this or about focusing on the first thing that I told you. Does this resonate with you? I like tell me if I'm taking up too much of your time. Die Derek. But what about the tight feedback loop? Like when I first described that to you as like Remake is like rough drafts for web apps, like you're going to be able to create web apps super quickly. Is that appealing to you, or is this more appealing? Ah, okay. Like honestly, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about that message for the past month and a half, 2 months, maybe longer actually, maybe like 6 months. And yeah, it's very, yeah, that's, I haven't really run it past too many people. So I appreciate you saying that because yeah. Um okay. No, that's like super useful for me. I think I agree with you too. Um let's just put this here. Okay, so this is kind of like more along the lines of something that would be interesting to you. Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across. We could just uh yeah, this is a little technical. That's all I'm worried about, like UI, CMS, clients. I don't know. Like I get it, and it does make sense to me. I would be excited by this. Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I like it. I think it's an improvement. Code, but we got to find a way to make it a little bit shorter. Um, but yeah, do you feel like this is appealing? I mean, forget the length. I understand the feedback idea, but I don't see how it could be used for that. Oh, okay. I'm very curious about why not. Because like literally, like if we look at the code, typically designs are delivered separately, no? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're a one person shop or like a two-person shop, maybe you're doing all of the coding and design. I mean, that's really who it's built for, is like if you want like a two or three-person company, that's what Remake is for. Like you're going to be able to do all of the um yeah, I guess I know what you mean. You're saying like, well, you already have design for that. But I guess what I'm saying is like you don't really know if it works unless you test how it works, right? So like sure, you can get feedback on the design. Um yeah, there's no way to do that right now. Like I guess I should clarify with like web app behavior. You can show all the screens, but it's not going to show if it's actually useful, right? Um, and see if people actually use it and get value from it. And I should say, rough draft of like web app products, um, like that are intended to make money. Like that's the goal. Like you're trying to create businesses. Like, okay, that makes sense. Um, yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, and it's not like I wouldn't go through Figma, right? I would do a design in Figma. I would test out the interactions with a few people, right? But like then you need to actually like release it and get feedback from real users. And in order to do that right now, you have to like set up React, you have to, have Webpack, you have to have your backend configured, add user accounts, and I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is like you really don't need to put it through Figma a lot of the times these days. Like, if you're working with like Tailwind UI or you working with like another UI framework, you can just kind of throw something together really quickly. Even Bootstrap, right? Just like throw something together really quickly. See if your core idea actually has value for people. The goal is not to like, yeah, I guess like that's what I would say. The goal is not to create something that works, um, or looks nice, like it has to provide value, right? It has to provide value for people and like become part of their daily habit. If you don't achieve that, then you're wasting your time, right? You can create a million designs that look good and that people understand how to use, um, but at the end of the day, if they don't pay for it, it's worthless, right? Because you're not gonna, I mean, not worthless, right? But like you're not gonna be able to create something sustainable, that you can dedicate a lot of time for. Eventually, you're going to get burnt out on it because even if it's super useful, you're paying for all the servers and scaling and everything, and no one's giving you anything in return, right? Um, I don't know, like, yeah. But can real value be created with something that doesn't have a back end? And I'm not talking blogs, niche sites, unless that's your audience. So it does have a back end. I'm not sure where you got the impression that it doesn't have a back end. Like there is this front end demo, but it does have a back end. The full framework does. It's a um, it's built on Node.js. It has a JSON database for every user. Uh, it's a lightweight file-based database, but it's got real user accounts with secure passwords, right? Salted and hashed passwords. It's got a deployment system. You can run backups. You'll be able to do migrations very soon. It's absurd we don't have support for migrations on the deployment service yet, but we will soon. Um, so you have a backend and you can modify the backend if you want. Yeah, we have an article, our latest article on the blog is about extending the backend. I will be honest, Remake is at a point right now where uh how do I explain this? I'll just say it. So basically the deployment service uses the exact same code that you download when you install the app. And the deployment service is meant to work across all of the users that we could have. So it has a lot of code in there in the actual framework that is not relevant to a single user. Like for you, like you want to download the framework and you want to serve, let's say, 1,000 of your users. That makes sense, right? But a lot of the code is one level above that, where it would let you run a deployment service so that your customers, who would be developers in this case, could make remake apps and deploy them to your server. And then they could each have thousands of users. Um, and so it's just like a lot of code that doesn't even make sense to be in there for a single developer. Um, so I say you can modify the backend. Yeah. It's pretty cool though. I mean, like you could like if you want, I'll make a tutorial and like show people how they can set up their own remake deployment service. And it's all just on this single instance of the app. So that's pretty cool. And it's not like a ton of extra code, but it does make modifying the code more difficult because I don't know if we look at it. I'm gonna just bring it up real quick. Uh, Remake main framework. I'm gonna just like show you some of the things. Wait, what? Why would I want to just let me open this? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. So if we look at app and the, or no, sorry, remake and then main, we'll see like some stuff in here, like is multi-tenant. So wherever you see that, that means that remake is able to support not just the one level of like you have thousands of customers, but that there's potentially thousands of developers who each have thousands of customers. That's what this is for. And it lets you host those apps on either subdomains or their own custom domain. So that's what like literally all of this code is for right here. Um, and then there's other examples of that. That's not this is not an example of it. This is raw remake, but like this is an example of it. And then there's just like other places too. Not there, but like down here, right? Like we're letting it's absurd. It's absurd that we have this in the actual friggin' framework that people download. But it's me working part-time on this small project. So it's like, and Remake's mostly supposed to be used on the front end. So we haven't focused on the back end and making it easily modifiable. But if you're a developer, that's one of your first questions is like, it's not that small anymore. I don't know. It's not that small anymore. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Remake is, yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be like a small little CMS. Yeah, and this makes it a lot bigger, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, it's a problem. Uh, if you're a developer, you definitely want to be able to modify the back end. If I was coming to Remake, I would want to be able to modify the back end. I'm in the nice situation where if I want to modify the back end, I can. And then I just deploy it, as a new version for everyone eventually, right? So yeah. But it would, yeah, it would definitely be nice if it was easier for everyone. So I guess, yeah, going back to like the goal of building a web app is not to create something that works or is usable, that only works or is usable or looks nice. It has to provide value for people and become part of their daily habit. Otherwise, you're spending time building something that is like nice to have, but not essential or something or sustainable, like people won't pay you for it. So like does that resonate more for you then? That like it's not practice to build websites or web apps, right? It's practice to build web apps that people love, that people can't live without, right? Um, like you're creating rough drafts of, yeah, we'll just say web apps, people, rough drafts of web apps, so you can build products that people love. And I don't know why I'm capping this, but can't live without, not just ordinary products that people will visit once and like never care about again. Like that's the core issue I want to solve. Um, but I guess like this honestly is pretty good too. I really, really like this. Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across thousands of clients. I just have to think of a way to, I just have to think of a way to make this shorter, I guess. Do this now and rewrite everything later, which doesn't seem appealing to me because it seems like unnecessary work. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if I have to do this much explaining to everyone, it's like it's not gonna work, right? People are gonna drop off like you did after, the first headline. Even if I change it from the HTML one, right? But just to explain, like I've been working as like a product researcher and designer and like startup uh I don't know, like everything for a very long time. I've worked at 4 or 5 different startups, so I have a lot of experience about like how long it takes to get to a good product, right? To something that people will actually use. And a lot of startups miss that point entirely and end up just getting a few dozen users and then calling it quits and dying, right? And that's a huge problem. Like it happens so much. And so like what I'm saying is like you do not need to create one version or two versions or 5 versions of your startup. You need to create probably like 50 versions of your startup before you end up finding something that resonates with people. And so if we're talking like if we were talking about like 3 versions of a startup, like absolutely fine, you're right. Um Oblivionaire. Wait, I don't know what this means. Sa I don't have the Twitch. Oh, hello. Hello, Oblivionaire. What do you like? What do you think about this VS Code theme? I'm curious. Um, so yeah, if we're talking about like creating 3 versions of a startup, like um, to get product market fit, yeah, I'm getting old, you know. Then sure, like use React, right? Use React and go all out. And like full stack. But like if we're talking about like you have to create 50 versions of a startup to get product market fit, which I think is like more accurate than like you don't have enough time in your life to like recreate like time or patience in your life to recreate that app 50 times using React and modern technology. And so I guess what you're saying is like, yeah, okay. I really appreciate the conversation though. Um, very much. You've given me like a lot to think about. I guess I still have failed to make this appealing, but yeah, I'll see you later. Hope to see you on later, and yeah, thank you for giving me a lot to think about. Yeah, see ya. Um, okay, so yeah, we did a lot of thinking, and yeah, Oblivion Air, how's it going? Yeah, I put it on high contrast mode. I don't know. I kind of like how it looks. It's like kind of fun. It kind of feels like old, you know, like it feels yeah, I don't know. It feels it doesn't feel like modern. It feels like I'm like a hacker, you know? That's why I kind of like it. Your React shift. What is your React shift? I don't know what that is. You know all of the Twitch emotes, huh? Ralph or Z. I don't know what that means. My React shift. I also don't know what Ralph or Z means, unless it's just a cute dog, uh then I do know. Um yeah, I'm like in the middle of a bunch of stuff. Oh, it's just a sad puppy. Oh, I thought it was like just a cute puppy. Oh, React Shift is work. Okay. That's awesome. You're already done with work. Oh, I guess you're probably in Europe somewhere. Maybe which direction is east? Maybe Eastern Europe. Um, if your day's over, then maybe like you're in Sweden or like around there, like on that line. Oh, Central Europe. Okay. Oh, 4:43. Nice. Very cool. Um, how did it go? How was your day? I'm kind of just gonna like cool down a little bit from this intense conversation I just had with Di Derek's. He like totally tore apart everything that I was thinking about for remake. But Yeah, I'm thinking about editing my Twitter bio again. I want to like at least add that I'm like streaming every day, live streaming every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'll put in my Twitch link. And for bum 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 bum. Oh, thanks everyone for joining. Aten, Casino, thanks. Draklin, Joint Effort, Miss Lenity, Oblivionaire, Sad Girl, SFD, Violets TV. Thank you for joining. So yeah, I want to add to my bio this. And then I don't hate my current bio, but it doesn't really capture what I'm doing with Remake. So everyone can create indie businesses. I don't know, that's not bad. And then I believe everyone on the internet should have power. That is something I believe, and it is pretty close to my heart. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about maybe putting something else there. Oh, and I'm trying to figure out a couple of things: marketing, branding, and reach, and talking about like the different products that I'm thinking about or releasing or whatever. So yeah, but I don't know. This guy just like totally tore me apart because I feel like creating an indie product business is like really hard and requires a lot of revisions. Um, are you trying to create an indie product business? Um, and like Remake is supposed to make it easier by letting you you work on an enterprise app. Okay. Have you told me about it before? Um, build it by letting you build by making the build feedback. What did I call it before? Like a tight feedback loop or feedback cycle. I forget what that's called. There's like a feedback loop, feedback cycle, feel like oh, like when you do something and you get the result right away. What is that called? I guess a feedback loop by making the builds feedback loop really quick. I wouldn't put it past me. Why? What happened? Is it I think I just have this one on. Sounds double. Well, that's possible because I'm using some software to filter out background noise. But let's see. So I've got this noiseless mic. These are not anything. And then the webcam should just be taking in the video. Um, I hope this is not making sound. Well, I don't know. It's possible that maybe I should just Sorry. Maybe I should just disable the mic and just add the regular audio. We can see if that fixes it. Add existing, add new source. So we're just gonna say like mic, and we're gonna just add our regular mic. And hello, 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 hello. Okay, so now we're talking with two mics, definitely. And now we should be just talking with one. Is that better? Let me know. Let me know if that's better. Oh, I really love that I'm not dropping frames anymore. That feels so good. Like, oh man, that was so annoying. Now I'm plugged into Ethernet. I upgraded my internet, so I have much faster internet. Um, it's not double anymore, but it has noise, so it's either one or the other. Yeah. What do you prefer? That's weird that it was doubling it. This crisp thing is supposed to be pretty good. You prefer the previous one? I could always turn off the air conditioning and suffer. Um, Tell me if the audio goes out right now. Shoot, I forgot I had muted. Sorry, oops. We're back with the noiseless. Okay, and I'm muting the regular mic. I can try to like maybe restart this or like maybe edit it. Um, let's see. Blanche, crisp, best voice quality, and advanced. Lock microphone volume at optimal level. Echo cancellation. Okay, you did say there was an echo. So maybe this helps? Let me know if this helps. I'm really actually kind of upset that there was an echo though. Let's like why would there be an echo? I have my mic right here and I'm listening here. So like why would there be an echo? But let me know if that helps. I think you should be able to hear me. I'm not positive. And we're removing noise. Bing Cortana, welcome to the stream. We are just hanging out, trying to think about my life and what I'm doing with it. Yeah, you can hear me without echo. Nice, awesome. Thank you, Jacqueline. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if this is like super compelling either because it's not really about the product. Maybe this could be like about like my overall mission, right? And then the product is about this code your UI once, get a reusable CMS. Um, you can use across thousands of clients. So if only there was a word that could capture reusable is fine, right? So let's make sure it's clear that this is amazing. So I'm gonna actually just like tweet about this really quickly because if if I don't tweet about it, like no one knows about it, and then I forget about it. Okay, so I figured out. I just had a devastating conversation with someone on my live stream who made me think, who made me rethink everything. uh, Rethink my mission for remake? No, no. Who made me rethink Is this like too much? I feel like you have to be a little dramatic though for Twitter, right? I just had a devastating conversation with someone on my live stream who made me rethink uh, I guess like all my messaging around remake. Um my life choices, not really. Okay. My life choices, not really. Or at least, but luckily we can just say life choices. But luckily we also came out of it with this great new way to describe remake. What do you think? Okay, have fun with pizza time, Oblivionaire. Wishing you a great day. I'll see you later. I just had a devastating conversation with someone on my live stream who made me rethink all my life choices. But luckily, we also came out of it with this great new way to describe remake. Code your UI once, get a reusable CMS you can use across thousands of clients. What do you think? Sure. Okay, that's tweeted out. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I think it's a pretty good thing to come up with. I want to talk about marketing, branding, and reach a little bit. I don't know if anyone's interested in that, but I have this problem where let's describe the problem. Okay, so the problem is I have a genius idea, um, and then no one buys it. So I don't make any money. Um, so I have to keep working for someone else. And I guess the question is, how do I escape the cycle? Like, how do I have a genius idea and then get people to buy it? So, like, how do I have a genius idea um, and get someone to buy it? And I think it's like it's a much more complicated process than it seems like at first, because you would think, oh, like genius idea, someone buying it. Like, of course, Um, sorry, I got distracted by this New York Times headline of Lord's work here is done. Now she vibes. It's just a very weird headline and image, like a very trippy image. Maybe the quality of the idea is a smaller piece of the puzzle than initially thought. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I also think it matters a lot about how you present it. Like I think if you just like say your idea and say, "Hey, people buy this," like you're not going to get really anyone to buy it, right? But if you are like, "Hey, I thought of this like really cool thing. It's a blah 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 for blah. Like, what do you guys think?" And then you get some feedback, and then like you talk about it some more, and then you like release a little piece of it. Um, then I think that's awesome news for Britney Spears. I'm gonna close Twitter now, because I'm getting distracted. Okay, so and like yeah, you release. I think if you like, especially if you release like small parts of it for free, and you show people how good it is, and you put a lot of time into that free content, I think you can do really, really well. That's my hypothesis. So I'm gonna say hypothesis. Um, like basically, it's just like release small pieces of it for free as you go along. I guess that's it. That's it. Um, and you're like, I guess you're doing a lot of things with that. Like, you're building mystique, which I think is important. Um, you're showing quality work, you're providing value. Um, what does it say? Real value. Uh, and I don't know, like you're gaining like followers slash interest. So I don't know if that's like the whole secret, but it feels like a pretty good step to me. Let's read a thread together. What do you guys think? Adam Wathan, no analytics. This is how I find it because it's one of his tweets, but it's actually part of a bigger thread. And this, I think, is one of the most brilliant threads I've ever read in all of building in public. Okay. Adam Wathan, this summer marked 4 years of working full-time on my own business, which is officially longer than I was a professional programmer working for other companies. I wonder if like that's the whole like his whole experience working for other companies was 4 years total, or like because that would make me jealous. Or like, did he only work for like 3 year stints at other companies, but he worked for like 10 of them? Here are some of the things I believe the most strongly about making a living as an independent maker. How do I not like this? This is what? I thought I had already liked that. The best way to build an audience is to simply be helpful on the internet. Give people a reason to pay attention to you and keep your signal to noise ratio high. Better to tweet 4 good ideas per week than 10 useful ideas and a bunch of BS about how Starbucks screwed up your order. Okay, very interesting. So he thinks that for, I wonder if good ideas is different than useful. I bet it is. So he's saying, yeah, keep the quality ratio really high. Giving away your work for free is like compressing a spring that releases when you finally put something up for sale. The longer you do it, the more energy is released. Steve and I compressed the refactoring UI spring for over 2 years. It made $1 million in the first month. Marketing doesn't have to feel gross. Sharing what you're working on, writing about the behind the scenes process, and documenting hard problems you've solved is all marketing. And people are excited to see that sort of stuff, not put off by it. Marketing is a product. Marketing a product after it's released is way harder than marketing it before you launch. Okay, this tweet bothers the fuck out of me because like, well, I've already released my fucking product, dude. So like, I don't know. Like, I just want this tweet to go away. But I get it. You need to start marketing at the very beginning when all of the exciting development is happening and you have lots of interesting things to share. Okay, great. Bing Cortana, welcome to the stream. Um, Ignoring people who are critical of your work is not creating an echo chamber, in quotes. It's building a community. I don't know if I agree with that, but okay. You wouldn't tell Slayer to write songs for the people who don't like Slayer. Find the people who love what you're doing and spend your attention on them. Ignore the rest. Okay, I mean, yeah, I kind of get that. And he's creating something that's a little bit different than what existed before. Um, Tailwind. Um, Analytics are overrated. I have never once made a decision that was informed by open rates or traffic sources. In fact, Tailwind UI has no website analytics at all. Doing great work has always been a more efficient lever for me. Okay? I like that tweet. It's like, yeah, it works for me. I would love to never use analytics. I think they're super distracting and you can kind of get addicted to them. Build real friendships, not a network. People who want to help you is much better than people you ask to help you. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I've never had to ask anyone to help promote my work. Work in public. Tailwind only exists because a bunch of people seemed excited about some boring CSS files I was using when I was live streaming some work on a completely different project. I never would have seen the potential on my own. I'm gonna ask him. Hey, do you have this live stream somewhere? I'd love to watch the birthplace of Tailwind. Sure. Always think long term. Early in my entrepreneurial career, I made a lot of short-sighted decisions about time-limited deals and other urgency/scarcity-based marketing strategies. It made me look like a scummy internet marketer, and I will never do that again. Huh. Yeah. I kind of have one of those on the Remake website. Maybe I should remove that. I have the founder's deal, and there's only 57 left. I don't know. Okay. Pick a business hero and ask yourself, would they do this? Whenever you're trying to make a tough decision about a marketing tactic, for me, it's Basecamp. Lots of decisions feel hard for me to make for myself, but are obvious when I ask myself, what would Basecamp do? I wonder if he's still a super fan of Basecamp after their controversy. Early access doesn't have to be cheaper. In fact, you can easily make the argument for making it more expensive. If I wanted to early access, if I wanted early access to the unmastered recording of a new album I was looking forward to, would that be cheaper? A landing page is the last step in validating an idea, not the first. Whoa. A lot of people would disagree with that. Put your ideas out there as tweets, articles, videos, conference talks, etc. first and see what people are excited about. A landing page takes you from 90% confidence in an idea to 95%, not 0% to 100%. Okay, that's very interesting. Compete on I'm not sure I agree about it, but because I've heard the opposite so often, it just kind of feels like very counter, to that. But I don't know. I respect the heck out of Adam Wathan. So um, compete on quality. There are tons of people writing blog posts, making screencasts, open sourcing libraries, etc. But very few people making stuff that's really great from end to end. Forget the 80-20 rule when it comes to putting out projects. Go the full 100. Jeez, that's like super threatening. Because like I don't know, like I'm putting out a remake. Remake was like I don't know, like an idea for this syntax, and I love it, and I have put a lot of attention into it, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere near 100. Like it's maybe 80% if I'm lucky. I would judge it more at like 50 to 60% you know, great, right? So I don't know. That's kind of a hard thing to read because like maybe it depends on the type of project you're doing, but I don't know. Stand out by doing the hard work that everyone else is too lazy to do. For example, um, Jonathan was the 1,000th person to write a tutorial on the Eloquent ORM, but he was the first person to write off the really hard problems and do the grueling work to come up with good answers. Learning is more important than your ego. I ask for help about dumb shit on Twitter all the time. No one thinks I'm stupid, and I have grown 100 times as a result. I literally started a podcast just to get people to explain things to me that I didn't fully understand. That's awesome. Um, I wonder if he replied to my tweet. Have you pivoted? No. Um, um, I don't think so. I think I may have just found a much better way of describing what remake does. Does it sound more or less appealing to you than the current headline? And I will screenshot the current headline. I'm gonna go in about 20 minutes, just so you guys know. I hope you enjoyed that thread by Adam Wathan. It's really one of the best threads on Twitter, in my opinion. Um, let's screenshot. There, that's fine. And we'll save this. I wish it just auto-saved, that would be nice. Ooh, Where are my screenshots? They're in pictures, there we go. Do it sound. I didn't say does it sound, oh well. Okay. Um, yeah. So let's take this. How did you not break financially while developing your own products? Freelancing? Do you charge? Do you do you change when you started going 100% on the first project? I wrote my first book over a 3-month period, just evenings and weekends, and was fortunate enough that the launch made enough money for me to quit and start working on the next thing. Huh, that's awesome. This is great and all, but what's a guy got to do to get spacings of 7 and 9 out of the box? Okay, so Adam Wathan, I think what I would summarize this as is like you got to do the hard stuff, you got to talk about it, and you got to make it perfect. Um, and I think I wasn't actually thinking about the hard stuff too much. But it makes a lot of sense, right? People don't want to do hard stuff, and so you're going to do it for them, and you're going to make it work really well. And while you do that, you're going to talk about it. So he says, where is it? Um, marketing, uh, where does he say public? He says work in public. Yeah, work in public. Okay, well, I'm doing that right now. I'm live streaming, so boom, got that down. No, but so I think yeah. Um, I think what he's saying, he doesn't even mention actually release things. So let's summarize this thread. Do hard things. Um, make them perfect. Like talk about them. And he doesn't talk about releasing anything for free. Oh, he does. He does. That's one of the first things he says. Yeah, signal to noise and give stuff away for free. Do hard things, make them perfect, talk about them, give work away for free. So I think, yeah, this is a very interesting way to think about it. In my opinion, it's under a philosophy, right? And I think it's a pretty common philosophy right now of work, right? Work is what's valuable and work is hard, right? And work is what's valuable. And I have a little bit of a different theory about that, but of course it hasn't been proven out because I'm not a millionaire like Adam Wathan. But my theory is that like work doesn't have to be work. Fun is what's valuable. And uh yeah, I guess I could just say like work can be fun. And fun is what's valuable. So I would summarize this, or I guess we'll say like philosophy, and then my philosophy. And um, I guess there's so there's like what would the world have to look like in order for, I mean, work is hard, right? I mean, like what makes something fun after all, right? I mean, it's got to be challenging, but it's also got to be like not, you're not like suffering, right? You're not like working for a very long time without getting any feedback and without like getting support, right? You're like, fun is like you have some control over the situation, and uh but you're also like able to let go, right? You're able to like let go and just kind of do what you would naturally do. um and I think there's this idea, um so yeah, basically fun is like you have some control over the situation, but you can just let go and do what you would naturally do. And then I think work like is like there's gold buried out there somewhere, and you need to like dig a lot, probably alone, in order to surface it. And I think both of these are true. I mean, like, well, what is the fun one, right? Like, what is the theory behind it? I guess it's that like people are like naturally adaptable and like mostly figure out something that works well just from being alive. Now, I think, yeah, some people would say, you know, if you're just like given a bunch of money and, you know, told you don't have to do anything, you're not going to do anything. I don't think that's totally true. I think if I had a shit ton of money, I would do a lot of stuff. Um, it's just interesting. It's interesting to do stuff. It's interesting to treat life like a game that can be improved, that can be made more fun and more interesting. Um, so I don't know. I think it's a. I'm gonna just describe it as a difference in opinion about like what the world looks like, right? Is the world something for like us to like? Is it like a playground, right? Is the world like a playground where we have control and we have the ability to change whatever we want to change and build whatever we want to build? Or is the world like a mine, right? Where we gotta for that line of thinking. Let's go. But is it like a mine where you have to like dig something out? Hobbyist. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, that's cool. Can you guys hear the desktop audio? I guess you probably can't, right? Hello, you can? That's awesome. Okay, cool. Um, that's awesome. Okay, that's awesome news. Yeah, so I guess my so yeah, so yeah, my theory, I guess, I don't know, like yeah, there's accountability. Yeah, but I think it's also like perspective, you know? I don't know, like I think there's like a view of this world that is like it's silly. Like we're humans, we don't even know. Like a lot of people have get like various guesses about where we came from. No one really knows, and it's all just kind of like silly, and like we can kind of just do what we want. And like I don't know if like someone wants to spend their entire life knitting something, that's fine, right? And like that's not exactly what I'm like saying. What am I saying? I'm saying I think it's natural. If I'm not having fun, I can just do something else. I don't expect that work will always be fun, and I know I don't have much choice to do anything else. I'm curious what you mean by that. If I'm not having fun, I can just do something else. I don't expect that work will always be fun, and I know I don't have much choice to do anything else. But like, okay, like I don't know. I think this is like so hard to explain, but like or like talk about, right? Because it's so general. It really is. But like people aren't going to starve. People are going to like people naturally want to eat and people naturally want to I think help each other. And I think like there's just like a level of intensity that I think is what we call like work, right? And like a level of disconnection that we think is allowable or okay, right? Like I do a lot of design work and meetings and calls and research with people every day. And it's disconnected from like actually helping people. And then at the like, and I don't even get to see a lot of what my work ends up translating into, right? That it ends up helping people. I don't even get to see that. So there's like this large disconnection between the effort I put in and the results. And what I'm saying, like, fun is like it's this direct connection to the work and what you're doing, and why it matters. And I think, like, I don't know, if life is a mine where like you have to go off and you have to dig a bunch to like find some gold, like you can bring like a friggin' picnic there and like you can dig gold with friends, right? Like what I'm saying is like we have control. We have a lot more control over the situation than we think we do. And like if we take a proactive approach to life where it's like, no, we're in control. I get to say what my life looks like and how I do my work. Um, then it can become like really, really fun, but it requires like an active mindset towards the situation, not just towards the work in front of you. And so I don't know. I think what Adam Watson was saying is that, like, from my perspective, right, is that people don't like doing work, right? There's there's these mines out there that are really hard to mine, and what I did is I found a really like good spot and I mined for a very long time and I came up with some really good gold, and now things are working out for me, right? And that's just my interpretation. That's, maybe that's not what he's saying at all, but that's my interpretation. And what I'm saying is that, like, people don't actually value that. Like that's not the point of life. Like it can't be. It can't, there's no way that like just surviving or like what are you gonna do? You're just gonna work your whole life just so you can get the gold, just so you can what, survive? No, like of course not. You're living because it's enjoyable, because it's worth it, because there's something about it that makes it worth it. And what I'm saying is that, like, the thing that makes it worth it can be embedded into every second of your day. It doesn't have to be the thing that comes after you do the hard part. It can be all along the whole path. And the nice thing about that is, if it is, you can go so much further than the person who thinks that it's just work and then some kind of reward. If you think, oh, I just have to work really, really, really hard for 3 months or 6 months or 6 years or 60 years, and then I get my reward, you're going to be much more likely to give up and get depressed, um, or just become like a crank, than the person who embeds that happiness into like, and that like spontaneity and that fun into every moment. And they're going to be much more creative too. Now, I'm not saying this is what Adam Wyman is saying, is that like he's not having fun. I'm sure he's having a shit ton of fun. He seems like he has a really good team. He's got a beautiful project. He's got a much more beautiful website than I do. And he's making millions of dollars. I don't even know how many millions, but I'm sure it's a lot, right? Um, so he must be having fun. But I don't know. I like, if fun is not embedded into your work, like how is that even worth it? Like I just don't. I mean, I'm not saying I have fun all the time. Like I do stuff I don't want to, but I'm just curious if like putting more attention into that ultimately would be much more worth it. And like not just as an individual, but like as a workplace, as a society. Um, I don't know. I like, fuck. I play these like games with friends, like card games or whatever. And what I do is like I'm always focused on the long term. I'm always focused on like the long term strategy. I want to like build up all of the gold and the resources, and then I want to like do the battle, right? And so like I want to go down, like if I'm playing, I don't know, Magic the Gathering, for example, like I'm gonna go down to like 2 life and then I'm gonna like win the game. That's my strategy, right? That's what I like to do. Um, and so thinking about that, thinking about this from that perspective, you can spend a lot of your time optimizing the fun in your life, right? And then not ever really having that fun, right? So like, I don't know, it's like it's a balance, I guess. I don't know what to say about it really. I just think like if you're gonna go dig for gold in the desert alone, like why not just like bring friends and bring a picnic and build like a friggin' tent around it and have fun doing it and like invite a bunch of people to do it with you. And then like when you get the gold, you can all split it and then you can like do it again because it was fun and it was an adventure, you know? And like if that's what life is, if that's what work is really digging in mines all the time, like I don't know, it should be fun. And I guess then the value of the work is not the work. The value, I guess that's what it comes down to for me. The value is of life is not like what you get out of each experience, it's the experience itself, right? Like if you're not paying attention to the experience yourself itself and like listening and just being aware, then like you're not actually getting anything out of life. Like you're just not. You're always just like getting that momentary reward and then like moving on to the next thing. And then like you're not ever living. You're just like working towards the next thing. Um and I just think it's a less efficient way to work. Like I'm not saying like don't have I'm not saying like just have fun. I'm not saying like don't do work. I'm saying like work could be a lot more fun and therefore more efficient if you just paid attention to like the experience you're going through instead of the goal you're shooting for. I don't know, whatever. It's a bunch of philosophical nonsense. But I don't know. That's like a pretty core part of what I believe and what I think about life. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think it's like, it's not, like, I think a lot of people don't know the bargain they're making. And I think if they considered it, they would be like, oh yeah, this isn't really worth it, you know? Like, like I just keep going out digging for gold and then I get the gold and then I hand it off to the people that value it. And maybe if I'm paying attention, I have a momentary piece of happiness as I'm handing off the gold to those people because it's like a worthwhile thing to give something of value to someone and to like see them be happy because of it because they needed it, right? Because it was really important and useful to them. Um, so I don't know, like if we take Adam Wathan's thread as like a I don't know, like a philosophy of life instead of what he's saying it is, which is just like a few, strongly held beliefs about, making money online. Um, then I think it's wrong. Like not like objectively, not like seriously wrong, but like I think you could do better. I don't know. It feels weird and wrong to disagree with Adam Wathan, but I think that uh, perspective really impacts quality of life. Um, Optimism, always seeking the silver lining in your experience and using every experience as an opportunity to learn. I think you live a much more enjoyable life than being pessimistic. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But do you kind of get what I'm saying? Like about the digging in gold or whatever analogy? But the complication with that is I don't think everyone really gets a conscious choice in being optimistic, pessimistic. Yeah. But I'm gonna just bring up Figma really quick because I feel like I can explain this better with a visual. Um, because I think it's useful. It's actually incredibly useful for me to understand this too, because it's something I've thought about for a while and never really put into words. So this is just my like brainstorming thing. Okay, so um, let's say this is a task, um, and this is over here. I don't want to do that. This is the result of the task. And this is like digging for gold, right? So you're digging for gold. This is work, right? Make that, oops, I'll make this smaller. There's another aspect of balancing work and fun that I often think about. If I'm not spending as much time doing something creative and instead spending more time consuming other people's creations, I feel guilty, like I'm wasting too much time. Are you feeling that right now? um, yeah, no, I get it. Like being a consumer, you shouldn't feel that right now though, but because you're like we're having a conversation. But uh this is great. Okay, good. Yeah, but you're not, yeah, like if you're just consuming, yeah, it doesn't feel good. But I think consumption is um it's a like a result of this unhealthy cycle, right? So like I think this is like one way of thinking about life. So we'll just say this is hashtag life, okay? So we have the digging for gold philosophy, which is you do a lot of really hard work and then you get rewarded for it at the end, right? And so um, that's one way of doing things. And the other way, the other way I'm thinking that I'm describing is the, um, let's say, reward at the end philosophy and the reward during philosophy. And of course, these are like neither one is like, like 100% one way or the other, right? But like this could be really hard work as well, right? And you can still get a reward at the end. But what's happening here, um, and we'll just say also really hard work, is that you're getting little rewards here. So you're getting another one here, another one here, another one here. And what I'm saying is like this is a more natural way of being because like people naturally want to help each other. People naturally want to see each other smile. People naturally want to like give each other like advice and guide each other down the right path. And so all of these little rewards are like a smile or some like positive feedback or like the things like um connecting your work towards the people, connecting your work to the people it's helping as you work. And I think the more we focus on this, oops, that's too small, the like more productive we'll be, the happier we'll be. Um, more we focus on this, the happier we'll be, the more productive we'll be. more adaptable will be. Because you can think like, oh, if someone says change direction here, right? Like, let's just point here, right? You're almost done with a project. Um, if someone says change direction there, you're not going to want to, right? Um, not adaptable, because if someone tells you to change direction here, you'll be really resistant, because you haven't gotten the reward yet. You'd be happy, the happier we'll be, the more productive we'll be, the more adaptable we'll be. Why do people want those positive interactions with others? I think a big part of this conversation requires an agreement on the origin of life, because evolution biology helps make some insightful observation about these behaviors. Okay, sure, yeah. I'd be up for that. I don't really know a lot about it, but I'd be up for that. The more we focus on this, the happier we'll be, the more productive we'll be, the more adaptable we'll be, and the further we'll be able to go. And the further out we'll be able to go into the unknown, right? This philosophy rewards um, rewards like mining gold type actions, where you know roughly where, let's make this a certain width, where, geez, what is wrong with me? Where the gold is buried and how long it will take to get, so you can decide if it's worth it or not ahead of time. And this philosophy rewards exploring new solutions and new terrain. Um, but also it could like, but also mining gold type actions, or we should say, I guess, operations, because they're like ongoing. Um, okay. Well, that's our thinking for today. Um, yeah, and I think this is like living this like it rewards our natural behavior, right? And instincts and motivations. Like people like helping each other. People like making each other smile. People like giving advice to each other to help. Um, you know? But maybe this is too literal of an interpretation, but isn't the luck factor of mining gold a big reason why someone might be more willing to work relatively hard for it? Yeah, no, absolutely. But like you can, so okay, so like you can still, how do I get rid of these sidebars? It's not the same on a Mac. Oh, I don't know how. View. It's control backslash, but that doesn't even work. Oh, because it's tied to 1Password. Whatever. Okay, so like you can do anything with either one of these, right? But like um this is like freaking capitalism right here, right? Like this is like basically capitalism. The theory of capitalism, right? Which is that like your payment is this like reusable resource that's transferable to anyone, and so you should work a lot for it because at the end you get freedom, right? And this is like, hey, like dude, you're already free. Like you can just like you can do this for the right reasons, still provide value and still get something out of it, right? Like this is like bring your friends on a picnic to the gold mine. Like there's no rule against it, right? Um like you get rewarded at the end for lots of work by being able to boss other people around. It's unhealthy. It's like, dude, we're gonna give you these like tokens. Like like you get bossed you get bossed around. You get bossed around and then you get rewarded at the end for lots of work by being able to boss other people around. It's unhealthy relationships. Um, it's like unhealthy relationships with other humans. Because it's all just based around bossing people around and getting the privilege, right? And and mostly you want to get paid more so that you can boss people who aren't getting paid as much as you. um, yeah, let's write that. You want to get paid more so you can boss lower paid people around much more than they can boss you around. Um, so it's like it's unfair dynamic. It creates all of these like hierarchies. Like yeah, it just feels unhealthy to me. And then this one's like, dude, like just like focus on who you're helping as you're helping them, right? Like, um, that's it, right? Like if I'm talking about, so I do a lot of like research and design, and right now I'm in a big research phase, right? And so like if I'm enjoying those calls with other people, if I'm treating them like real people, if I'm valuing um, the relationship that I have with them, and not just using them for information, right? That's one thing. And then if I try to get them the feedback loop as quickly as possible, right? Where I am executing on their feedback quickly, that's another thing that can help. And then if I implement a change that helps customers, not only talking to the customer before when you're trying to figure out the problem, but also while you're solving it and after you solve it, right? Because we're not machines. Like, I don't know. That's what I would just say. Like, people aren't machines. We're not like reusable, I don't know, like interchangeable pieces in like a great uh machine. I don't know. um like we need human motivations to sustain us. And if you I don't know, like whatever. That's all I'll say about it. I gotta go anyways. But it was definitely a fun thing. Um yeah. Um Yeah, thanks for having a conversation with me. I don't know if you want to talk at some point. Yeah, like you could be on stream if you want. We could like do a Zoom call or something, and then I guess since people can hear the audio, they'll be able to hear you too. Or if you're interested in it, um, I know you're not like at a startup or running a startup or anything, uh, but you're technical, so I think you would understand how to do this game. I'm doing a podcast that's 100% for fun, called Dev RPG, um, and it's basically you're playing a startup founder and you're trying to create a successful startup, and I basically tell you scenarios that are like challenges, like you're running out of funding, or an investor will invest in you, but you have to get 50 customers first. How do you do that? And then based on your answers, we do like some RPG stuff, right? We'll do some roles where we'll come up with like new scenarios, or tell you what your luck was. And then, yeah, it's just like 25, 30 minutes. If you want to be on that, let me know and we can set that up. I just recorded the first podcast actually yesterday morning, and hopefully that'll go out soon. So you can actually sign up here if you want to hear about that one before you decide to go on it or not. Because I'll probably release it within the next day or two. But thank you for the conversation. It was genuinely insightful and interesting. Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I hope I am able to make these live streams more and more interesting as time goes on. We'll probably have like some like standard events at some point. I'm just getting started, just getting back into it, but I'm planning on streaming every weekday, every single weekday from 10 a.m. Eastern until 11:30 Eastern, um, from now on. So we'll see what happens. Okay, see you guys. Love ya.